Hello and welcome. It's good to have you join us again on the news at 4. I am Tessie Justin Bisong. The national leadership of the governing All Progressive Congress and the opposition People's Democratic Party this Friday jointly visited President Muhammadu Buhari to formally welcome him back from his vacation in good health. This is in spite of their differences in ideology, philosophy, principles and interest. President Muhammadu Buhari described the unique event as a symbol of Nigeria's national unity.
This visit signifies the unity of Nigeria. It is not a party occasion. It is not a political gathering. It is a symbol of our national unity. It is also an expression of the maturity of our democracy. Multi-party democracy is a very tried and tested form of government. Opposition does not mean hostility, enmity, or antagonism. Democracy needs opposition, one which is vibrant but responsible. I am very pleased to see assembled here all shades of opinions in Nigeria. Please convey to our countrymen and women in your respective states my deep gratitude to all those who prayed for my recovery. I am imploring all Nigerians to continue praying for peace and prosperity in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the National Youth Caucus of the All Progressive Congress APC has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the introduction of youth-friendly policies that will make item job creators rather than job seekers. At a media briefing of the caucus at the end of its national executive meeting, the APC Youth Caucus listed the NPower and the Back to the Farm initiatives as some of the policies beneficial to the younger generation.
We pledge our unflinching loyalty and support to all the national organs of our party, as well as all policies of government, those that are targeted at improving the lives of the youths and all the citizens of Nigeria. Empower, conditional cash transfer to the poorest of the poor, school feeding program, among others. Support all the efforts of the federal government in improving the livelihoods of farmers, with anchor borrower scheme being the magic one.
The Youth Caucus aligned itself with the anti-corruption stand of the present administration and distanced itself from hate speeches being promoted by who they called desperate politicians in the country. A special Interfaith Thanksgiving prayer session for the good health and safe return of President Muhammadu Buhari has been held in Abuja. Ifoma Ojinta reports that the prayer session was organized by the women arm of the Buhari support group.
Members of the group gathered from within and outside Abuja in appreciation to God for answered prayers for the good health and safe return of President Muhammadu Buhari from his medical vacation. Though it was not a day for speeches, the Director General Buhari Support Group, Umar Dembo, and the women coordinator of the group, Hajia Larekolo, as well as other well-wishers, seized the opportunity to call on Nigerians to support the president and desist from hate speeches.
If we don't have one Nigeria, what are we doing? We will not be able to live, we will not be able to celebrate, we will not be able to work, we will not be able to eat, we will not be able to farm, we will not be able to politic, we will not be able to do anything at all.
If there is no woman, there is no nation. Yes. We are here today to pray for him and the nation. Now it's time to pray for Baba for more strength, health.
We all stood en masse and prayed for him, not because we were expecting to be given positions or we were expecting contracts or any money, but because we had a love for him. Why did we have a love for him? Because we see him as a symbol of integrity. We see him as a symbol of righteousness. We see him as a symbol of one who is protecting the one who is less privileged.
Because we have gathered for the purpose of praising God, thanking God for the life of our dear president, who was on the verge of being taken away from us. But God said it is not yet time.
Various men and women of God took turns to pray for the perfect healing, wisdom and power on the president to succeed. They also prayed for the economy, peace, security, and one indivisible Nigeria. In Abuja, Ifoma Ojinta, NTA News.
The federal government is poised to continue to support states that are keen in developing the agriculture sector. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said this in Taraba during a meeting with government officials. He noted that the agricultural sector of the economy, including processing, will provide a lot of jobs for the teeming youth. Nationwide, the Vice President, accompanied by the Minister of Women Affairs, inaugurated a 5-hectare greenhouse producing vegetables, including 250 tons of tomatoes per hectare. Vice President Osinbajo says the greenhouse project is one of the smartest ways to produce vegetables all year round. Rising tide of domestic violence receives condemnation as groups in Lagos take to the streets. Ademola is with these and other reports from our Lagos Network Center. Good afternoon, Ademola.
Good afternoon, Tessie, and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Lagos State government has commenced sale of its lake rice at approved retail outlets across the state. Nasarawa reports that there was high turnout of residents as they thronged designated sale centers to buy the lake rice in preparation for the Eid al-Kabir festival. Well, we're still working on that story. We move on to the next story. The Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team has embarked on an advocacy walk to sensitize citizens to sexual and gender-based crimes in Ekpe, Lagos. Imole Ayotokede, who witnessed the event, reports that paramount rulers in the community were in attendance.
The Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, in its quest to kick out sexual and gender-based violence in the society, embarked on an advocacy walk to create awareness on rape, domestic violence, child abuse, maltreatment and neglect in Ekpe community. The walk, which was led by the paramount rulers of the community, commenced from Oba Shefiu Abdewale, the Olu of Ekpe's palace, at about 10 in the morning and ended at Oba Kamoru Animashaun, the Oloja of Ekpe's palace.
If you rape, now life imprisonment. The Lagos State is saying no to rape. Yes. The people of Ekpe are saying no to rape.
The event attracted both men and women, as well as religious and traditional leaders in the community who trooped out to support the advocacy efforts. They suggested ways the menace can be eradicated from the country.
I totally condemn child abuse and rape, and to keep the children safe, particularly the female ones.
Child abuse, everybody knows that it's against the law of Nigeria. We'll try to support the government to make sure it comes to an end.
As a religious body, religious leader, it has been our work, part of our mandate is to preach against sexual violence and rape and all injustice in the society.
The Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team further advised Nigerians to speak up on any sexual assaults as the culprits will be prosecuted. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede, NTA News.
We now go back to our earlier story of the sale of lake rice. The Lagos State government has commenced sale of its lake rice at approved retail outlets across the state. Nasarawa reports that there was high turnout of residents as they thronged designated centers to buy the lake rice in preparation for the Eid-el-Kabir.
Rice is a product of the joint agricultural venture between Lagos State and Kebbi State governments, designed to ensure food security and showcase Nigeria's ability to become a rice-producing nation. The name Lake Rice is born out of the acronyms of the two states, with LA standing for Lagos and KE for Kebbi. The Director of Technical Services, Lagos State Agricultural Development Authority, said that the government was fulfilling its promise of giving residents a blissful Eid-el-Kabir.
It's a continuous thing, and the populace will not at any point in time say that they don't have supply of rice.
Since we started, we've been able to put the crowd under control. We call them in 20s. What you do is you pay with your ATM. No cash, nothing.
At the Agege sales point, trailers were seen loaded with the produce, while a crowd queued at the center to purchase the rice.
I came here in the early hours of today to get lake rice, but fortunately I find it very convenient.
We got here in the morning. We are asked to register our names, and the thing was quite orderly. So that is what, and I think it's a good gesture from the angle of the government.
The prices of the products have not changed. A 50-kilogram bag sells for 12,000 naira, while each bag of the 25-kilogram and 10-kilogram are being sold for 6,000 naira and 2,500 naira respectively. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
Well, that does it from Lagos for now. We now go back to Tessie in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola, and welcome back to Abuja. Talking health now, with the current commitment by stakeholders, experts say Nigeria may soon be free of polio. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, while reviewing polio in Nigeria, say though Nigeria is still among 3 countries in the world with wild polio virus, the reinvigorated polio plus immunization, if sustained, may change the narrative. Lydia Sampson has this report.
The determination to rid Nigeria of the wild polio virus is not in doubt, as President Muhammadu Buhari did not mince words in admonishing key players to leave no stone unturned following the re-emergence of 2 cases in August last year in Borno State. The renewed effort spearheaded a campaign across Africa, which is already yielding positive results.
The government's been working on it. We've been having cooperation from all the different parties, and we're confident that with the continued efforts that are now ongoing, that soon Nigeria will be polio-free.
They were quick to reiterate the need for timely release of counter-funding by states, stressing that the federal government has strategically brought primary health care under one roof to fast-track the fight against polio.
There's no doubt about the safety of the vaccines, and even the vaccine doubters now are not saying anything about any doubt whatsoever around vaccines. And this is why we keep saying that parents must provide vaccinations to their kids, because it is the single most important public health intervention that we have. It is an investment to provide these vaccines to these kids.
They commended the role of traditional fathers in educating the people on the potency of the vaccine, and also urged parents with eligible children to always make them available for vaccination. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, experts have allayed fears about the spread of a strange disease in Kogi and Kwara states. That, contrary to reports, there were 19 deaths instead of 62 being reported, but confirmed there are 2 confirmed cases of Lassa fever in Kwara state. They stated this while speaking on NTA Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson again has the report.
The key players from the health sector confirmed that there is no public health emergency in Kogi and Kwara State, but said in addition to investigations already carried out, the common water source sample in affected communities will also be taken to the laboratory for further analysis.
The first thing we did was to evacuate and transfer those who were still manifesting signs of diseases. All of them, about 43 of them, were evacuated and transferred to the specialist hospital, Lokoja, for optimal care. When we arrived in the specialist hospital, only 6 of them were sick enough to warrant a hospital admission. The remaining 37 were treated on outpatient basis and were discharged home same day.
Are we finding more cases or deaths than we expect in a specific geographical area over a specific time period, which is in effect the definition of an outbreak? So here we really haven't found a cluster of deaths or a cluster of cases. These are communities, like Dr. Saka said, people have died, and we haven't found that they're linked in any way.
They said the cases in Kwara and Kogi are not in any way linked, as diagnoses differ. They therefore urge the people to pay more attention to improving the sanitary condition of their environment to avoid any epidemic.
Many of these zoonotic diseases have to do with poor environmental sanitation, and then even those others that may not be zoonotic diseases that result in gastroenteritis also have to do with environmental sanitation, water hygiene, personal hygiene, and all that.
The guests say the federal government will not relent in intensifying efforts at detecting, prevention, as well as responding to outbreaks. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And still on health matters, the control and prevention of non-communicable diseases in Nigeria today has become quite challenging, owing to lack of adequate data to give a clear direction. The last of such data collated in 1999, participants at the meeting on control and prevention of diabetes say is no longer workable in tackling the disease. Basi Itaikpan completes the report.
WHO report shows that an estimated 422 million people are living with diabetes globally. The report further shows that about 2% of deaths in Nigeria is traceable to diabetes. This meeting seeks to address such challenges and prefer ways to tackle the menace.
From communicable to non-communicable diseases, and there's a need to accord a higher priority to NCDs in order to prevent the looming time bomb. We express grave concern about the growing crisis of diabetes, hypertension, and other non-communicable diseases in Nigeria.
The burden of diabetes is said to be huge, as it impacts negatively on the socio-economic development of the country. The major cause of diabetes and other non-communicable diseases is linked to negative lifestyles, alcohol, and tobacco intake.
Through public-private sector collaboration, we are committed to modernizing our health facilities at all levels of care so as to deliver quality, affordable, accessible, and acceptable health services to our citizens.
Participants advocate improved primary health care to make non-communicable disease care accessible to patients. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
People's Democratic Party leaders meet in Ibadan to reconcile aggrieved members. Kemi is standing by for details. Hello, Kemi.
Hello, Tessie. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us in Ibadan. The National Caretaker Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Ahmed Makarfi, has assured all returning members of the party of a level playing field to join in building a formidable PDP ahead of 2019 election. Senator Makarfi said this in Ibadan when he led other party leaders to reconciliatory meetings with erstwhile members of PDP in the state. Kemi Oshin has details.
National Caretaker Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ahmed Makarfi, in company of other leaders of the party across the nation, were in Ibadan on a single mission to reconcile the party with former leaders who are aggrieved and had left the party. Hence the visit to houses of former governors of Oyo State, Senator Rashidi Ladoja, Adebayo Alao Akala, and Seyi Makinde, among others. At the various meetings with the erstwhile PDP members, Senator Makarfi assured them of a level playing field so they could join hands to build the party for victory in coming elections.
Let's stand all together as one family. So that fear is more as religious as foundation.
Seyi Makinde, Senator Ladoja and others in their responses called for internal democracy in the party, saying this was the main reason they left at first.
Ladoja and people who have faith in him, good in him and God, courage people in terms of rights.
I left the other time because of certain things, and those things, as we speak, they are being addressed, and I believe in the capacity of the current leadership.
The Reconciliatory Party also visited some foremost politicians in Yoruba land, including Chief Richard Akinjide and Pa Yekini Adeojo. In Ibadan, Kemioshi, NTA News. Kemioshi.
Stakeholders in the nation's education sector have criticized the new national cutoff mark for admission into tertiary institutions in the country. Those who spoke with correspondent Rofia Nemashan Badmos in this report believes that the new policy will bring down the standard in tertiary institutions.
Since the announcement of new national cutoff marks for universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, stakeholders in education have raised concern on the matter. For instance, the University of Ibadan believes that though it was part of the decision at the last meeting with all heads of tertiary education institutions, the university's benchmark remains above 200 marks.
Cutoff points is not the only parameter. There are other factors, of course, that will be considered. You have the cutoff points, you have the O-level results, and of course the post-UTME results.
I don't know from where they got that clue that 30% should be the benchmark. Even for Polytechnic, they said 100. That's 25%.
It will just bring about a situation whereby students will not really work hard again for exams. 120 over 400 is not too good at all.
It's like giving students excuse not to prepare very well for their exams.
They urged the academic education authorities to review the benchmark so that the country's high rates would not be for lazy students. In Ibadan, Rofia Animasham Badmos, NTA News.
Nigerians have been advised to always take note of their health, especially women during pregnancy. Experts give this advice while speaking on depression during pregnancy. Correspondent Adibola Golano reports.
Pregnancy stage is a stage that most women admire. At this stage, the body experiences many changes, which follows with different symptoms, among which are early morning sickness, excessive sleeping, among others. Experts say most pregnant women experience depression during pregnancy, and women with this risk factor are susceptible to delivering premature babies or low birth weight babies.
Other stresses, having other babies to look after inside the home, not having the resources to take care of the family, all these stresses contribute to developing depression.
Experts added that symptoms of depression can be effectively treated with the right help and drug-free approach, which research has shown to be more effective and safe during pregnancy.
The average duration for some of the people who do get treatment is about 5 to 6 years. That is, they will be suffering for many years before they access any kind of treatment.
They also advised pregnant women to always go for antenatal so as to detect early symptoms and for adequate treatment to save mothers and the unborn babies. In Ibadan, Adebola Ogunlana, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Tessie.
Thank you, Kemi. In a bid to sustain the gains of presidential amnesty program, the senior special advisor to the president on Niger Delta Affairs, Brigadier General Paul Borough, is seeking a strategic partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority. The senior special advisor to the president and his team paid a courtesy call on the Director General of the NTA. Omotola Omojola reports.
In implementing the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration program of ex-militants in the Niger Delta region of the country, the Presidential Amnesty Program has carried out many programs aimed at reforming former agitators through capacity building, educational, vocational and entrepreneurial training and providing value reorientation. His visit to the Nigerian Television Authority is part of the desire to sustain the agency's achievements through strategic collaboration. Director General NTA, represented by Executive Director News Malam Muhammad Labo, notes that the NTA has been supportive of the Presidential Amnesty Program and appreciates it.
A lot of the young people that have particularly been trained in various educational institutions around the world, we would not have known the capacity and the capability of those young men but for the Amnesty Program. They would have wasted in the creeks. And very, very good for the growth, development of this country.
Brigadier General Boro, retired, reveals that many of the ex-agitators are impressed with the government of the day, so much that many more wish to disarm.
Of late, the youth in the Niger Delta region have expressed their pleasure, their willingness to disarm and be engaged through the Amnesty Program. And this the government is looking at. And I think it's a positive move for youths who bear arms, willing, to disarm and get involved in a program that they feel will transform them positively.
The senior special advisor to the president, however, calls for engagement of the trained youth to provide for a positive ripple effect of the gains of the Amnesty Program. In Abuja, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
Nasarawa State government says it will sustain the robust partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, for effective information dissemination on its programs and policies as cornerstone for economic development. Governor Umaru Tanko Amakura said this while inspecting the progress of work on NTA Lafia Access Road. Joshua Ojito reports.
In addition to facilitating access to NTA Lafia, which prides itself as the Pathfinder station, the road will open a new corridor for many communities in the axis. Inspecting the project, Governor Umaru Tanko Amakura said the road will be completed before the end of the year. He commended staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, for hard work and urged them to sustain it.
I would like to pledge to you the donation of a bus. This is just the beginning. We are only paying back for the efforts we have done at the time when the state.
General Manager of NTA Lafia, Hamza Musa Makarfi, assured the state government that NTA Lafia will sustain its role in disseminating information on programs and policies of the state government.
We are here to promote Nigeria's quest for economic development.
Meanwhile, Governor Al-Makura met with the Emir of Lafia, Alhaji Isa Mustafa Agwe I, and identified the role of traditional rulers in nation building, urging them to sustain robust consultations and dialogue with their subjects on the need to live in peace. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Experts at the 6th meeting of the National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development in Abuja say access to affordable housing has remained an unfulfilled dream in Nigeria. They asked for deliberate efforts at repositioning the sector, which is seen as an important tool for stimulating economic growth. Oyinaya Kalu takes it from here.
Records show that in numerical terms, housing in Nigeria is grossly inadequate, a problem attributed to the trend in urbanization and population growth. Experts believe that it is only 10% of Nigerians who desire owning a home that can afford it either by way of purchase or personal construction.
We really have a lot of deficit within the housing sector.
The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics recently put the housing shortage of this nation to about 18 million. And here in a section of Kadokuchi, we have over 100 people, including children and women, living in a makeshift structures.
We'll not get anywhere to put ourselves. That's why we just manage ourselves here.
One of the decisions taken by the federal government to address the housing challenge is to increase this year's capital budget to 30%, a departure from spending just 10%.
The present administration is not only concerned about the challenges facing the development of the sector, but is also determined to revitalize the sector.
The meeting of the National Council with the theme, Building for Inclusion, Growth and Prosperity, is to provide opportunity for inclusion where growth translates to employment, thereby providing income for Nigerians.
We have to indulge our universities into research, particularly research that involves local materials.
Insufficient funds, high cost of lands and building materials were some of the challenges identified as confronting the housing sector. Oyina Kalo Oka, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll take a quick break now. Nationwide continues shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
National Council for Arts and Culture Abuja presents 10th African Arts Crafts Expo, AFAC Expo 2017, the biggest arts and crafts expo in Africa. Theme, Nigerian crafts, the untapped treasure. Date, 27th August to 17th September 2017. Venue, Arts and Crafts Village, beside Sheraton Hotel and Yaradua Center, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. daily. AFAC presents a unique platform for artists, crafts dealers, manufacturers and other stakeholders to buy, sell and promote products from Nigeria and other African countries. For more information, please call Chinwe on 0803-321-7724, Gerald on 0802-3345-301. National Council for Arts and Culture, our culture, our pride. Otumba Olusegun Ronshewe, Director General, announcement.
Get high on books, not drugs. Only those who hate themselves fill their bodies with smoke, drugs, and harmful substances.
He broke my heart.
These days, when young lady or young man has emotional upheavals, he or she abuses cough syrup with codeine, some sniff glue, sewage, even petrol.
I'm already finished. Just let me finish myself completely.
Alas, where is our tomorrow headed? This week on Professor John Bull, we introduce to you high people, all of them, one by one. Find out why Jumoke wasted her school fees and why Flash went local.
Come on, stay one place, liar.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Experience the beauty of life and nature like never before. With the new StarTimes Full HD 1080p Real High Definition TV, enjoy an exquisite super slim design with a real surround sound experience. Watch the biggest blockbusters on over 200 plus channels. Available in 32 and 40 inches from 69,900 Naira at leading shopping outlets across the country. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive, Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
Can Rafael Benitez steer his beloved Magpies to victory against Slaven Village and his mighty East London Hammers? The world's most wanted league, Newcastle versus West Ham, Saturday, 26 August on Kwese Free Sports for the fan.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide on NTA. To win the war against substandard products in the country, Nigerians, irrespective of class, age or social status, have been asked to collaborate with the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, and other regulatory agencies. This was the position of the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun, and the Director of SON, Osita Anthony Aboluma, at a seminar for dealers and manufacturers of electrical and electronics appliances in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Lukman Adejesu reports.
Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Bimbo Ashiru, stated that the resultant effects of manufacturing and patronizing substandard products range from loss of lives and properties as well as revenue to the government. He added that the proliferation of low-quality electrical and electronic products discourage investment and entrepreneurship. Genuine investors who adhere to the standard practice, he noted, would then produce at high cost.
See, some people are doing this out of greed, out of not being patriotic in the country, and out of selfishness. And because they want to make money, they produce substandard products.
He reiterated the commitment of the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun, to partner with organizations to ensure safety and sanity in the industry. The Director of Operations, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Felix Nyado, and the Ogun State Coordinator Office 1, Samuel Ayuba, warned manufacturers of substandard goods to desist from such acts, as the organization has zero tolerance to goods that fall short of set industrial standards.
To have a substandard electrical cable in your house, your life is at risk, the life of your families is at risk.
After this program, we go into implementation and compliance. The theme of the seminar was effects of substandard electrical and electronic products to life and economy and sustainability strategies of marketing electrical and electronic products and getting the best alternative energy. Lukman Adefeso, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Environment, Ibrahim Usman Jibril, has commended the Nigerian Customs Service for intercepting dangerous species of wildlife smuggled into the country. The minister made the commendation while inspecting and subsequently handing over the impounded wildlife to the Department of Forestry and Natural Environment Management, University of Uyo. Maureen Leo Ajom has the report.
About 600 different species of wildlife, ranging from poisonous snakes, centipedes, millipedes and spiders, among others, were handed over to the Department of Forestry and Natural Environment, University of Uyo, by the Minister of State for Environment. The minister, while commending the Nigerian Customs Service for bailing the country out of the mess, reiterated the commitment of the federal government to rid the country of crimes and corrupt practices.
The fact that they were arrested and did not go through means that something serious is happening. So we have to commend the Nigerian Custom for their dedication and for being very vigilant to be able to catch this unscrupulous element.
The Minister of Environment has actually handed over to the University of Uyo for further studies.
There are all poisonous snakes. Likelihood is that people milk them for their venom, which is a very valuable material.
The wildlife meant to be transported to Luxembourg in Europe en route to Nigeria were intercepted about a month ago by the Nigerian Customs Service in Cross River State. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Stakeholders and partners of the economic community of West African states are engaged in a sensitization seminar to enhance powers of the ECOWAS Parliament. The forum, which is holding in Lomé, Togo, is at the instance of the Nigeria Institute for Legislative Studies. ECOWAS Parliament and African Capacity Building Foundation. Joseph Orok reports that the gathering will enable participants discuss collaborative strategy for an effective application of the enhancement of power of the Parliament.
The general objective of the seminar is to allow participants to take ownership of the supplementary acts and acquire better understanding with a view to facilitating its implementation. President of the Togolese Republic and current chairperson of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments, who was represented, said the reform goes further to deepen democracy in the sub-region. While declaring the seminar open, he urged parliamentarians to work together to check increasing wave of terrorism and kidnapping in Africa.
Enormous resources grâce à la création d'opportunités pour le développement durable.
Other speakers noted that ECOWAS Parliament is a reliable partner for the delivery of good governance, maintenance of peace and security within the sub-region, and that the enhancement of its powers from advisory to oversight on ECOWAS Commission's budget will fast-track needed integration in the sub-region. The four-day sensitization seminar on the supplementary acts relating to the enhancements of the powers of the ECOWAS Parliament is expected to enlighten participants on the expanded role of the Parliament. In Lomé, Togo, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Advancing democracy in Africa requires exemplary leadership, respect for the rule of law, and an uncommon commitment to selfless service. Abdullahi Sliman Yaji reports that this was the thrust of the 2017 Nelson Mandela Roundtable for the Political Development of Africa.
Instituted to propagate the ideals of Nelson Mandela, such as activism for the rights of his people, selfless leadership, and the seamless transition of power in South Africa, the second edition of the Roundtable, organized by the Safe Democracy Group Africa and other partners, brought together diplomats and Nigeria's political class to chart a way forward in conflict resolution and promoting good governance on the continent.
Even as multitudes clamored for him to stay in power, it was a mirror of what African leaders should be and should emulate.
It is our desire to stimulate the need for the political class in Africa to change their concept and respect to constitutional term limits.
It's a call to more service to duty. Democracy cannot flourish unless there is strength of character.
I believe that the question of the unity of Nigeria, we have come to a point where it is acceptable to most people that we should remain united as a country.
Speakers also said effective post-election dispute management is crucial to smooth transfer of power in Africa. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Ockright, says the British government is keen to secure more business partners to contribute to the manpower development needs of Nigeria through world-class education for national growth. He spoke at the Chevening pre-departure reception of the 2017-2018 scholars in Abuja. Ogechipo reports that 43 Nigerians benefited from the scholarship.
These are young professionals with outstanding academic and leadership talents seeking to pursue a one-year master's degree at any UK university of their choice. 43 of them will depart Nigeria September, courtesy of the Chevening Scholarship Program, an international scheme funded by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and partner organizations established in 1983 and runs in over 160 countries as an important element of Britain's public diplomacy effort.
I'm looking for commercial opportunities. I'm looking for people who can come in, businesses who can come in, who can provide some funding so that we can expand the scheme, so we can get more Nigerians to come to the UK and benefit from Chevening.
We think this is a good opportunity because it brings us back to the country when we're done to come and develop Nigeria
Already we are doing well, but we think we can do better and bring the international expertise back home here in Nigeria.
Some Chevening alumni attended the pre-departure reception.
That's what education does. It makes you a better person.
It's an amazing scholarship. I join every Nigerian to try and get on board. It's most competitive scholarship we find.
Already assume that these people who are going this year are going to come back with more skills, more knowledge, and are going to have a place in Nigeria.
Chevening currently boasts of a robust global alumni network of over 48,000 members, of which over 1,200 are Nigerians. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
Police parades one of their own as suspect escapes under his watch. Let's join Miriam in Port Harcourt for these and other stories. Good afternoon, Miriam.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. The Hydrocarbon Pollution and Remediation Project, HYPREP, has restated its commitment to ensuring that standards are maintained in the remediation of oil impact sites in Ogoniland. The authority gave the assurance during a monitoring exercise of demonstration of remediation technologies on some selected sites. Karina Higoniko has details.
Well 3, Korokorotai is one of the sites where demonstration of remediation technologies are being carried out by 2 companies. Head of Communications, HYPREP, Issa Wassa, says these demonstrations are carried out at no cost to HYPREP. He says the exercise affords them opportunity to assess the capacity of the companies and evaluate the materials deployed for the remediation.
So far, so good. You could see the companies are here very active. In the rain they are working. That shows activities have started. By the time we got to this site, where the place was impacted up to 28,000 ppm, and we'll be able to bring that down up to 1,000 something.
Fire remediation has started, and as the process is going on, the required benchmarks will be achieved.
Members of Korokorotai community expressed delight at the demonstration exercise and assured of providing all necessary support for a successful operation of the cleanup. In Korokorotai, Karina Igoniko, NTA News.
And the River State Police Command has placed a reward of 1.5 million naira for any information that will lead to the rearrest of escapee ritualist Ifeanyi Maxwell Dike, who escaped from CID headquarters in Port Harcourt. Similarly, a Port Harcourt magistrate court has ordered that the investigation police officer, IPO, attached to the case, John Bosco, be remanded in prison custody following the disappearance of the criminal when he was arraigned. Kingsley Amajiri takes it from here.
The escape of the alleged murder suspect, Ifeanyi Dike, from police custody raised public outcry from different segments of the society, leading to a peaceful protest by youths and women of a Leozu community where the incident took place. The State Police Command, however, arraigned the IPO before a River State Magistrate Court sitting in Port Harcourt in a bid to exonerate itself from perceived complicity. Magistrate Andrew Jaja, who said he lacked the jurisdiction to hear the matter, however, adjourned the case to September 14 for the Director of Public Prosecution's advice, while the police IPO is to remain in prison custody. Counsel to the parties spoke to newsmen on the development.
Hearing of a matter and granting of bail are 2 different things altogether. The court may have a jurisdiction to admit somebody to bail, but may not have the jurisdiction to hear the matter. So because he does not have the jurisdiction to hear the matter, owing to the provision of law on which the defendant is charged. So that is the position.
We have received on authority information that the police officer who aided the escape of that murderer has been summarily dismissed from the force, and today he's been arraigned according to the laws of the country.
The police IPO, John Bosco, was arraigned on a 2-count charge of aiding a murder suspect to escape and impeding justice. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, to enter into a strategic partnership towards enhancing service delivery for mutual benefits. The management of the two organizations agreed on this partnership when the NIPOST team in the South Zonal Office, Benin City, led by Alhaji Abubakar Usman, paid a courtesy visit at the NTA Network Center in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri again completes the story.
While NTA Port Harcourt Network Center is strengthening its rebranding efforts towards enhanced quality content through better packaging and programs as well as services to its teeming viewers, NIPOST in the South Zone is also engaging on a reform campaign in its operations and services to the public.
We want an improvement in our infrastructure, and at the same time we want to imbibe the use of new technology in order to enhance the operational efficiency of our products and services.
Zonal Director, NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, Bayo Bamidele, was delighted that NIPOST is thinking out of the box towards revamping the fortunes of the organization. Bamidele said NTA is poised to collaborate with NIPOST for mutual benefits.
Tangible results will be we'll provide services for NIPOST, and they will also give us services in return. We feature them on our programs and all of that as a means of increasing their publicity hype, but of course they would also provide services for us that are available for us.
This accord is expected to see NIPOST feature regularly on NTA platforms through documentaries, discussion programs, and news to reach out to the public on its new products and services. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that wraps up our contribution from Port Harcourt. It's now back to Tessie in Abuja.
Thank you, Miriam. Welcome back to Abuja. And talking sports now, Falconets intensify training ahead of FIFA Under-20 Women World Cup qualifier as live actions of the